The people of Chaoga all gathered around to look at these 24 characters. The news quickly reached Grand Tutor Du Yuanxian. Du Yuanxian went home and studied these characters carefully, but he couldn't figure them out. Seeing that King Zhou was living a life of debauchery and ignoring state affairs, he was very worried. So, that night, he wrote a memorial. The next day, when Du Yuanxian took the memorial to the document room, he met Prime Minister Shang Rong. He said to Shang Rong, "Old Prime Minister, last night, when I observed the astrological observatory, I saw that the evil aura was rushing straight into the deep palace. Now the king doesn't care about state affairs and is addicted to wine and women. This is a really big problem. I wrote this memorial. Could you please help me give it to the king?" Shang Rong nodded and said, "Since you've written a memorial, I won't stand by and do nothing. But the king hasn't been to the court for a long time. How about we go to the inner court together and report this to the king in person?" Du Yuanxian thought this was a good idea, so the two of them went to see King Zhou. Unfortunately, Du Yuanxian was stopped outside, and Shang Rong had to go in alone. Shang Rong saw King Zhou and said, "Du Yuanxian observed the celestial phenomena last night and has something important to report to you, Your Majesty." Then he handed Du Yuanxian's memorial to the king. King Zhou opened the memorial and read, "Your servant, Du Yuanxian, observed strange clouds and bad omens last night. The evil aura is covering the deep palace. The other day, Yun Zhongzi from Zhongnan Mountain gave a wooden sword to suppress the demon, but I heard that Your Majesty burned the sword. Now the evil aura is even stronger, which is a huge problem. Since Su who presented Lady Daji, Your Majesty's governance has become chaotic, and all the officials are disappointed. If the king and his ministers can't communicate properly, how can the country be stable? Your servant is not afraid of offending you and risks his life to give this advice. If Your Majesty thinks what I said makes sense, please take action quickly." After reading the memorial, King Zhou thought Du Yuanxian had a point. He went to ask Daji. Du Yuanxian mentioned the demon again in his memorial. "What's going on?" Daji immediately knelt down in front of King Zhou and said in a sweet voice, "Yun Zhongzi is just a swindler who travels around. Now Du Yuanxian is bringing this up again. They must be in cahoots, trying to spread rumors and cause trouble. The common people don't know the truth. If they hear these rumors, they'll be very scared, and the country will be in chaos. People like them who spread rumors should be killed to stop this from happening." King Zhou thought Daji's words were very reasonable and nodded. "My dear, you're so right." Then he immediately issued an order to behead Du Yuanxian as a warning to others. Prime Minister Shang Rong was shocked and quickly tried to stop him. He said, "Your Majesty, you can't do this. Du Yuanxian is a loyal minister who has served 3 emperors. He has always been dedicated to the country. What he said is for the good of the country, and it's his duty to observe the celestial phenomena and report omens. Now he's speaking the truth, but instead of rewarding him, you want to kill him. Du Yuanxian's death is not the main issue. If the other officials find out about this, they won't accept it. Please spare him because of his loyalty." King Zhou didn't listen. He said, "Prime Minister, you don't understand. If we don't kill Du Yuanxian, these rumors won't stop. Then the people will be scared, and the country will be in chaos." Shang Rong tried to persuade King Zhou some more, but King Zhou just wouldn't listen. Shang Rong had no choice but to leave. When he got to the document room, the order had already been issued. Du Yuanxian is spreading rumors and is to be beheaded to uphold the law. The imperial guards didn't give Du Yuanxian a chance to argue. They took off his clothes and tied him up, ready to take him out of the Noon Gate. Just as they reached the Nine-Dragon Bridge, they met Grandmaster Mei Bo. Mei Bo was very angry when he saw Yuanxian being tied up. He asked for the reason and then said to Shang Rong,
"If the king is right, the prime minister can keep quiet. But if the king is wrong, the prime minister should speak out. Now the king is killing a minister for no good reason, and you, prime minister, are not saying anything. Do you value your own position more than the country's laws? A prime minister shouldn't be afraid of speaking the truth just because he's afraid of death."
In Mei Bo's eyes, governing a country was like running a machine. Sometimes, the CPU, the king, might have some problems, but if the monitoring system, ministers like him, didn't report it, that was a problem. But he didn't expect that the CPU not only had problems but also caused more damage to other components. With that, Mei Bo pulled Shang Rong and rushed into the inner court. He said to King Zhou, "Your Majesty, what crime did Yuanxian commit that you want to kill him?" King Zhou replied, "Yuanxian and that swindler Yun Zhongzi are working together. They claim there's a demon in the palace. Isn't that spreading rumors? I'm not killing him without a reason." Mei Bo was so angry that his face turned red. He shouted, "I heard that when King Yao ruled the country, he followed the will of heaven and cared about the people. Now, Your Majesty, you haven't been to the court for half a year. You're just having fun all day and ignoring state affairs. You even don't allow your ministers to give you honest advice. Yuanxian is a very important person for the country. If you kill him, it's like cutting down the pillar that holds up the country. I hope Your Majesty will spare Yuanxian. Then all the officials will be grateful to you for your kindness." King Zhou was furious when he heard Mei Bo talking back to him like this. He shouted, "Mei Bo and Yuanxian must be in the same group. They should have been beheaded together. But considering Mei Bo's past contributions, I'll spare his life. However, he's removed from his position as Grand Master and he'll never be able to hold office again." Mei Bo was so angry that he cursed, "You tyrant! You listen to Daji's slander and want to kill Yuanxian. You're not just killing Yuanxian. You're killing the people of the whole country. The world is about to be in chaos, and I'm ashamed to face the former emperors in the afterlife." King Zhou was even angrier now and ordered his men to kill Mei Bo with golden mallets. At this time, Daji sneered and said to King Zhou, "Mei Bo is so disrespectful. He dared to insult you like this. Just killing him is too easy. I have an idea. We can make a copper pillar, heat it with charcoal inside, and tie the criminal to it with iron chains. Let him experience the punishment of the burning pillar. Soon, he'll be burned to ashes. If we don't have such a severe punishment, who'll be afraid of the laws of the court in the future?" Prime Minister Shang Rong couldn't stand it anymore. He knelt down and asked to resign. King Zhou didn't try to keep him and just approved his resignation. Soon, all the officials heard that Shang Rong was resigning, and they all came to say goodbye. Huang Feihu, Baigan, Wei Zi, Gz, Wei Zi Qi, Wei Ziyan, and other ministers gathered at the 10-mile pavilion to see Shang Rong off. Everyone was very sad and shed tears. The day the punishment of the burning pillar was made, King Zhou was very happy. He asked Daji, "Now that the copper pillar is ready, what should we do next?" Daji had a mischievous smile on her face and said, "Let's take it out and have a look first." The person in charge of making it quickly pushed the pillar over. The copper pillar was shiny yellow, about 2 zhang, a unit of length in ancient China, tall and 8 qi, another unit of length, thick, with 3 layers of fire doors. King Zhou pointed at Daji and laughed. "My dear, Your idea is really a great way to govern the country. Tomorrow in the court, we'll use this punishment of the burning pillar on Mei Bo. Let all the officials know how powerful I am. Then they won't dare to bother me with their memorials in the future. The next day, King Zhou went to the court. The ministers saw 20 large copper pillars on the east side of the hall, and they were all very confused. King Zhou ordered, "Bring Mei Bo here." When the court officers went to bring Mei Bo, King Zhou ordered his servants to move the punishment of the burning pillar to the right place, fill the 3-layer fire doors with charcoal, and use big fans to blow the fire. Soon, the copper pillar became red hot, and waves of heat rushed towards them. The minister still had no idea what was going on. Just then, the court officer reported that Mei Bo had been brought to the Meridian Gate. King Zhou shouted, "Bring him in!" All the civil and military officials saw Mei Bo, with a disheveled head and wearing white clothes, being brought into the hall. Mei Bo knelt down and said, "Your subject Mei Bo pays his respects to your majesty." King Zhou sneered and said, "Old fool! Look at what this is." Mei Bo looked at the copper pillar but had no idea what it was. King Zhou said proudly, "You only know how to insult the king in the palace, relying on your sharp tongue. I've invented a new punishment called the punishment of the burning pillar. Old fool! Today, right here in this hall, you'll experience it and be burned to ashes. Let this be a warning to anyone who dares to insult the king like you in the future." Mei Bo was not afraid. He shouted, "You tyrant! My death is as insignificant as a feather, but I'm a veteran minister who has served 3 dynasties and held the position of Grand Master. What crime have I committed to deserve such cruel torture? It's a pity that the great Shang Dynasty will be destroyed by your hands. How will you face your ancestors in the afterlife?" King Zhou was so angry that his whole body was shaking. He shouted, "Strip him of his clothes and tie him to the pillar." And so, Mei Bo was tied to the red-hot copper pillar. The scene was more terrifying than the scariest movie. Mei Bo's skin turned black, his bones were almost burned to charcoal, and a disgusting smell filled the air. Soon, he died, and his body quickly turned into ashes. Poor Mei Bo, who had worked hard for the great cause of the Shang Dynasty all his life, ended up with such a tragic fate. Guys, now comes the question. With King Zhou being so muddle-headed and Daji being so vicious, the Shang Dynasty seems to be in more and more danger. So, what will the other ministers do next? Will they continue to endure in silence, or will they find a way to resist King Zhou and Daji? Now, let's play a Fengshen 101 virtual vote. Suppose you were King Zhou's advisor. Given the current situation, what advice would you give? Immediately launch the Chaoga metaverse. Let everyone immerse themselves in the virtual world to forget the troubles of reality, and maybe even develop new profitable businesses. B. Upgrade Daji's holographic projection equipment to make her even more beautiful and charming, so as to keep King Zhou happy and stable. C. Hire Zhongzi as the chief security officer. Zhongzi is very capable, and he might be able to protect Chaoga and prevent similar things from happening. That's all for today's story. Join us at the same time next week as we continue to uncover the mysteries of the world of the Fengshen. We'll see how the fox demon Daji disrupts the harem and climbs the ranks by eliminating her superiors. Don't miss it!